net een sprookje. Echt waar.
The first time it snows always feels so magical, like waking up in a fairy tale. Getting out of bed though in wintertime is so hard. It takes courage to swap the cozy bed for the cold air temperature. Whilst making this footage, we didn't yet knew we would be getting snow for 3 days straight. So I thought I would just dust off the thin layer of snow for now and stretch the time we can still use this space, as there is still no kitchen in the new house. I wouldn't say though it feels very cozy to cook outside in this time of year, but as a bonus we can watch bird TV in the morning. In the last video we were working on this new masonry cooking stove. It has completely dried out now, but it took a long time. I finished the stove with some clay plaster mortar in between the stones. The stove works great and heats up the cooking plate quickly with a good fire. We noticed one thing though, and that is that the inside material we used for making the fire chamber is very brittle and already falling apart, so that needs to be replaced with something sturdier. First priority was to finally close the house up a bit, as the outside temperatures are drastically lowering. We both worked on getting the insulation and the ceiling planks in place. It's the darkest time of year and the sun barely reaches our solar panels, or any place on the homestead for that matter, as it is so low in the sky. We needed to run the generator at least twice a week for some hours to recharge the batteries. There is this special little place at the back of our land I often like to visit. There are some beautiful old oak trees that speak to the imagination. It's also a place where I can envision another small house, privately nestled in the forest behind the oaks, where a like-minded individual or small family can live and share some of the responsibilities and joys with us on the homestead. Precies wel, hè? Het past wel, hè? During this month I didn't find extra time and inspiration to make new works, but spent quite some evenings fulfilling orders that came in for the holidays. I so appreciate every piece I can create and send out in the world.
Uh-huh.
So with the stove running in the background, Jonas started on making the furniture for the kitchen, as we desperately needed one at this point. He bought himself a new tool for this, that he will use to craft the other furniture as well. The planks from the kitchen we milled ourselves in early springtime, when we took down a big pine tree that gave too much shadow in the garden. It's the first time for Jonas he is making furniture. As with every new chapter of the build, he feels overwhelmed at first, but once started he enjoys the process. I'm happy he had fun figuring out, measuring precisely and working with the wood. I definitely need more the intuitive things, as I have little patience with doing things very precisely. But perhaps that makes us a good team. Whilst Jonas was figuring out the kitchen cabinets, I was installing these kitchen shelves, attempting to connect them in a sturdy way to the hazel branches I had hammered inside the wall this autumn. Although the ceiling of the cabin was finished now, it still felt cold inside. We rented our infrared camera to see what next steps we should prioritize to make it more comfortable inside. It shows exactly where cold and warm air are leaking out and coming in. Our big double-glazed windows and especially the wood around it need some extra consideration. But mostly the edge between the wall and the roof needs to be finished with insulation and wood. The back doors we had bought might be insufficient as well. I need something extra. And a finishing layer of plaster on the outside will probably also help to make it airtight, but that will be for in springtime. In my mind I'm already 10 steps further in the process of the house build, constantly thinking how to finish the space and make it beautiful and functional. In front of the sliding door, we installed a place for putting our shoes. This shelf is in connection with the stove and the warm air can hopefully dry out our wet shoes if necessary. Jonas had to play around a lot with the countertop to get it right, taking it off and on, so it would fit tightly on the under construction. Meanwhile, I'm working on the walls again. Here I finished the second layer in the shower space. Above the shower we intend to create a storage space. The house is now such a mess. As we do everything inside here, there is dust and dirt everywhere, and a whole collection of building material. I did a bit of work in the days without snow to add some more to the bench. Maar moet je dat zo doen? Elk tegeltje? Zo dan?
Ja, ik denk het.
There are some more things left to do before we can call the kitchen finished, like installing cabinet doors and adding a little seating area next to the stove. But that will be for another time. We also have to connect the tap to the water storage. The thought of having running hot and cold water into the house sounds almost magical to me, after years without. I wish you all a reflective, cozy passage into the new year. I think we might have some serious challenges coming along, so it's a good time to recharge those batteries so we're standing strong. All the best, and I see you in the next video.